Go ahead, Miss Haley. Now that's close. Hold on before you keep going. You see in front of that first matrix, Miss Haley, there's something there. I didn't even notice that. You see it now?
Yep.
Put it in front where it needs to be. Now it doesn't go to everything. It only goes to that first matrix because it doesn't have parentheses, right? Okay, keep solving. You're still okay.
If there were parentheses around like the first block and the first block,
Yeah.
what?
Turn 7. Keep going. You're doing great. Not everything comes out a pretty whole number. Okay. X equals 11 over 2 is correct. Who wants to do the second one? Go for it, Caleb. So now we have the second part. You can highlight if you want, Caleb. So what I have them do, and I know you've seen that. Yep, perfect.
We multiply by 2.
Yes. So I normally highlight the 2, but that's okay if you don't. Otherwise, sometimes I forget about it.
And we have our y, and we have it equals 11. So we subtract 8 from each side, and then we have y equals 3.
Lovely. Any questions on that? Okay. So these are all problems you've already done, but that wasn't on the worksheet yesterday, so I wanted to make sure we reviewed it. At this time, you can turn back to the front of your spiral notebook for today's objective, which is multiplying 2 matrices. So let's review just briefly. In order to add 2 matrices, somebody raise your hand and tell me about that. In order to add 2 matrices, perfect. They have to have the same dimensions. That's not true of multiplying. Just because they have the same dimensions, sometimes yes you can, sometimes no you can't. And we'll show you today what dimensions exactly they need to have in common in order for us to multiply. So here are our first 2 matrices that we're going to use actually for the entire period today. I've got A and B. Take a minute and copy those down. So this problem here wants me to multiply A and B together, right? Well, before I can actually see if I can multiply A and B, I need to write the dimensions. So I'm going to write the dimensions of A, and then I'm going to write the dimensions of B right beside them. There's a reason I want to write it right beside it. And I know right now as I say that, you're like, well, what is the reason? But I'll show you here in a second. I actually write the one, and then I write the other one right beside it. So, Caleb, you get to pick somebody.
Alexander.
What are the dimensions of A? What? 1 by 4. Remember, it's how many rows by how many columns. Pick somebody. This kid. What you get for the dimensions of B? 4 by 2. Good. Remember, it's number of rows by number of columns. For anybody that forgot that. Now, see these middle 2 numbers? In order for us to multiply these 2 matrices, those middle 2 numbers must be the same. So I'll repeat that. In order for us to multiply those 2 matrices, those middle 2 numbers must be the same. Now, these outside 2 numbers tell me the dimensions of my new matrices. Let me repeat that. The outside numbers tell me the dimensions of my new matrices. So my new matrix is going to be a 1 by 2. And this one we're going to do by hand. Just because I want you to see how to do it by hand before I show you how to do it in the calculator. So it's going to be a 1 by 2. Notice I'm using a lot of room because I need to show some work as I'm doing this. This is not one of those things that you can do in your head. you're probably doing something wrong. You are going to just multiply the places, Caleb. You're actually on the right path. But you have to add them with other places. So in order to get this first spot, this is the first row and the first column of this, right? So I'm going to highlight the first row and the first column of B. I'm going to need to use all those numbers in order to do this problem. So I'm going to take 8 times 3, which is 24. And then I'm going to add, I just go to the next spot, negative 7 times 3. And then I'm going to add, I go to the next spot, 2 times 5. And I go to the next spot, 2 times 1. Okay? So notice there's lots of spots to fill in there, right? This is not a problem you could do in your head. Plus 2. Now go ahead and fill in the other line for me. So that would be this row by the other column, the second column. Go ahead and fill that in for me. Okie dokie. So I got 18 plus negative 63 plus 2 plus 6. Now go ahead, figure out the first spot, figure out the second spot, and make a new matrix with those two numbers in it. 15 and negative 37, right? Now, notice everything I had to write down. Could you do this problem in your head? No. No. Now, I want you to think about this. What if this had been a 4 by 4? If that had been a 4 by 4, what would the dimensions of my new matrix have been? 4 by 2. That means there's 8 spots altogether, right? Would you want to have to do this 8 times? Okay. Now, if you take Algebra 3, you will be doing that by hand. But in my class, I want you really to be able to use the calculator to work through the calculator. So we're going to show you how to do that in a few seconds. But before we do that, I'm going to change this question. I want to know the product of B times A now. I learned in math class 3 times 2 is the same as 2 times 3. I'm wondering if A times B is the same as B times A. Well, what do I need to do first? Get my dimensions. Haley, what are the dimensions of B? Good. Corey, what are the dimensions of A? Nope. There you go. There you go. Kaylin, you can't do it. You write not possible on this one because those middle two numbers are not the same. So just because you can do one doesn't mean if I switch it, I can do the other. Because now, if I take the first row by the first column, there's not enough numbers in that column to match up, is there? So it doesn't match up. It doesn't work. Does that make sense, Jesse? Its commutative property doesn't work with matrices. It just works with regular numbers, not with our matrices. That's a good one to bring up. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try it in the calculator. Let's try A times B in the calculator. Yesterday I taught you how to enter matrices in the calculator, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's how. Let's review over it one more time. First, we need to find our matrix key over here. And that's in blue, you see the word matrix. So I'm going to click the blue key. And then click the matrix key. Yep, I hit second and then I click matrix. Remember, we go over to edit. Now, before I go to edit, raise your hand if you have more than 2 matrices already in your calculator. That's fine. You can't delete them. Okay? But it's kind of like, I have other flip charts, right, for my Promethean board. Do I need to delete them every time I put a new one up for you guys? Does it matter that there are other ones? No, they don't affect are the ones that we change to fit our needs. So we're going to edit letter A. And what's the dimensions of letter A? It's a 1 by 4. We've already said that, right? So I'm going to, if you have another number there, let's say it was a 2. All you have to do is highlight it, type a 1, type enter, and it changes it to a 1. So if you guys have a 4 by 5 entered, you can type 1, enter, 4, enter. Now it's a 1 by 4. Enter your 4 numbers in. Everybody okay? Oh. So now get out of there, go back to your home screen. The way you do that is you hit second quit. Second mode is quit. Okay, now go back into your matrix. Go over to edit. And which letter do we want to edit now? B, right? So go down and highlight B. If you enter on letter A, that'd be like taking a term paper and deciding, hey, I'll delete this and write a poem. It's gone then, right? You don't want to do that. So edit letter B and make it a 4 by 2. And enter your number. Do you have 2 by 4 or 4 by 2? So yours looks like mine, right? There you go. So you enter those numbers. Does anybody having trouble entering anything? Okay. Get out of there again. Go back to the home screen. So now we're going to multiply the matrices. That was the hard part. And in all honesty, if you take a quiz on it, once you enter your numbers, double check they're actually right. Because if you mess up a number, that's where you'll mess up. I don't want anybody here to mess up because they typed 4 instead of 3. Okay, so now let's call up our matrix. And we're going to try to multiply A and B. Stay under the name category when you want to call it up. So I'm going to click enter. Times. Then call up matrix B by going to the matrix again. Letter B. Once you get used to it, Mariah, it gets a lot easier, doesn't it? Like yesterday, it was probably a little challenging because it's the first time you've seen it. That's why we did a little bit yesterday before today. It's a lot less frustrating for you guys when you see it. Just a little piece and then. It's not the answer we got? Well, I wonder what the calculator does if we try to do B times A. Go ahead and do that. So call up the matrix B times. Now you already have the answer. Remember, you already did this. We're just trying it again in the calculator to prove it. So mine's a little different than yours. Mine's a little smarter. Mine actually says dimension mismatch, which is what DIM stands for. It means your dimensions in the middle are not the same. So you're not going to write DIM mismatch on a quiz. What are you going to write? You're going to write not possible, exactly. If you write DIM mismatch, you will not get any points for that. Okay? You want to write not possible. You want to know what it actually means. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I want to do is I actually want to give you practice time. So I'm going to give you the rest of the period to do your homework. So on a clean sheet of paper. I'm out of paper up here, so you need to hook up your group and hook up the other groups around you if you have extra paper.
Talk about extra paper.